fire, ignite the scroll. From pyramids to pavement, they feel the soul. Elder apostles dropping jewels, rare and colossal. The HOK, we get hostile over gospel. Religion in your ears, science in your nostril. House of consciousness, ain't no room for the docile. Toughest debate forum, earth can't deny. Iron sharpens iron till the sparks start to fly. Get your skin thick or your career colder. Sa.neter said source up. Weak arguments crumble, they ain't bold enough. Michael Guillotine sliced the lies from the clean crowd, electrified, charged like a light machine. Hieroglyphs in my veins, ancestors in my spleen. Building blocks of truth, DNA of a king. The HOK ain't for the timid or the frail. Weigh your knowledge on the scale, or get derailed. Sharpen swords in the forum, minds prevail. Or drown in the current when the truth sets sail. Sa.neter said source up. Get your skin thick or your career folder. Sa.neter said source up. Weak arguments crumble, they ain't bold enough. Sa.neter said source up. Get your skin thick or your career folder. Sa.neter said source up. Weak arguments crumble, they ain't bold enough. Iron tongue, every word a blade. Cut through illusions, truth displayed. No retreat, no surrender, we crusade. House of consciousness where legends are made. Sa.neter said source up. Get your skin thick or your career folder. Sa.neter said source up. Weak arguments crumble, they ain't bold enough.
Brother Malcolm wasn't even revolutionary. No, Malcolm was outspoken. Malcolm wasn't revolutionary, right? Malcolm wasn't trying to overturn the system.
Right.
What system was he trying to overturn? Revolution is, Castro was a revolutionary.
Right.
You understand? Revolution is about overthrowing systems. If you're not trying to overthrow the system, you're not a revolutionary. Just talking shit don't make you look.
I'm here to wake up the people. I'm here to wake up the people. I'm here to wake up the people. Knowledge to the brain, knowledge to the brain. I'm here to wake up the people. I'm here to wake up the people. I'm here to wake up the people. Knowledge to the brain, knowledge to the brain.
Speaking to my people direct, we got a threat, 3/5. Make them see us as pets, we need to check. Mind states, wait, you wait too late, we fall. Generations of many children will be lost. Subscribe to this channel and get them.
So I'm in a room full of guys from Senegal and Nigeria and stuff like that, in a cell phone store in the Bronx, right? So they hearing me talk to one, and they all chimed in because they misunderstood my position, right? I'm saying that I'm not African, and they thinking that I'm being, you know, like self-hating, ignorant. You know, I'm not one of y'all.
Right.
And I'm saying, no, y'all not African either, right? Mm-hmm. And they like, what do you mean we're not African? We African, I'm African, I'm African, I'm African. I said, so tell me this, right? I said, and be honest. I said, if we were having this conversation anywhere on the continent of Africa, right? Mm-hmm. Would you still be saying that? And they said, I said, see, the fact that you got to think about that is making my point. They said, no, that wouldn't make sense, right? I said, why wouldn't it make sense? If you African here, why wouldn't you be African there? They said, well, I said, yeah, your ass would be Soninke there, or Wolof there, or Mandingo there, right?
Right.
They said, yeah. I said, so how the hell are you not Wolof and Soninke and Mandingo here? They said, we are. I said, so how the hell are you African? They said, we African. I said, no, you telling me what the white man told you. That's not what y'all tell yourselves. This is outside view. You understand? That's not your view. Now you telling me what they told you, so you got me thinking that you think like them. When in reality, what you think is I think like them. So you telling me the shit you think I know. No, let's just deal in truth. You know your ass ain't no African. You a Wolof. You got Wolof culture. Jollof rice. That come from your culture. You understand? When you say jollof rice, everybody over there know where it come from. They go, well, Nigeria make the best jollof rice. But jollof come from the Jollof Empire. That's in Senegal. You understand? Mm-hmm. So now you say, well, wait a minute. African food? No, it's no African food. Just like it's no African people. There's no African language.
So what you mean when you say there's no African food?
Listen,
okay.
sa.neter.
Okay, I got you.
There's no, look, somebody said, right? The hell is my phone ringing like this, man? What the hell? Somebody said they going to an African restaurant because they like African food. I said, what's African food? They said, you know, jollof rice. I said, oh, okay. I said, you know that come from the jollof people in Senegal, right? We call it Wolof now, but that come from there, right? I said, so you like grass cutter? They said, grass cutter, what's that? I said, it's African food. They eat it in Nigeria and Ghana. They said, what's that? I said, it's a big ass rat. They said, get the fuck out of here. Pull it up, look it up, grass cutter, big ass motherfucking groundhog rat looking type motherfucker. Said, man, what? What? I said, no, you like African food. That's African food. You understand? Bruh, different cultures eat different things, right? But to label a food, the continent's food, it's like 1,000 different cultures there. And everybody got a recipe for something. That recipe don't represent everybody. Everybody don't eat the same thing. You understand? To say American food, what the fuck is that? You know damn well we don't eat the same shit than white people in Tennessee eat. A raccoon, possum, and all that. I don't know. I guess they got black people that eat that shit, but that's the black people that live around them. You understand? I don't eat beef. You got people that eat beef. You probably eat beef, but I don't. You understand? Say soul food. What the fuck is that? I don't eat collard greens and all that shit.
Like collard greens?
I don't eat that stuff. Sa.neter? No. I'm from Harlem, New York City.
I'm from Harlem.
Yeah, but no.
Collard greens,
yeah, but I love my French fries and shit. Right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, well, Sa.neter, I'm from the city, right? I'm not from the South in no kind of way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So probably the only thing that I eat that the people is macaroni and cheese. That's all we got in common. That's where it stops. We eat the rest of that stuff, right? But my point is that you can't just you can't just be like a part of the ignorant culture where you just blanketly label things and don't have any understanding of it.
Okay, let me go. You suggested targeting one business to shut it down as proof of black power. What happened after the symbolic victory if no durable institution replaces it?
Now, what that was pertaining to was people trying to find their power, right? where you have fragmentation, like we have. That's what we have. We have fragmentation. And everybody cries about unity. We don't have any unity, right? And when I point out that no one has unity, right? And people look at examples of other people doing things together and say, well, that's unity. And I say, no, that's kind of like a business plan, you know? And if you have a business plan and then you put that business plan together, people will support that business plan because they can see the viability of it, right? It'll look like unity to you from the outside if it's just you and people like you doing it, right? That's the partnership. But if the partnership is like, I don't know, Spanish, it kind of looks like, hey, those Spanish people got their thing together, right? If the partnership is foreign blacks, hey, those foreign blacks, they stick together, right? That's not what's going on. What's going on is you have a business model being implemented by a group of people that happen to be closely associated. They might be the same people, they might not be. You don't know because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? What I was talking about was when you're marching up and down yelling no justice, no peace, right? Or like every year they march on 125th Street and want businesses to close for a couple of hours in honor of Malcolm X, right? What I said was, that's kind of not like power. If you want to demonstrate power, you target a business and you shut that business down. You don't target it and march around for a couple of days. You shut it down so that it closes down, right? Now that says to everyone else that, oh shit, they found a way to wield that sword. You understand? So now when you're dealing with other people, they take you seriously. Right now, they don't take black people seriously because they know you're only gonna be mad for a couple of days. You're gonna go back to partying and bullshit. You're gonna march around, no justice, no peace, and you're gonna go back to whatever it was you were doing before that until the next issue comes up. You're gonna do the same thing again. Now, I'm only saying this because this is what I've seen, sa.neter. So you can't tell me that this history isn't correct. I've lived it. I've watched it. Okay? I've even made songs about it. No justice, no peace. And then you march around, you go back home, and something else happens, and you know what I'm saying? That video's like that.
Okay. You said national leadership are basically employees and cannot implement what black people need. What concrete alternative institution does your realism-ism offer?
Self. Because at the end of the day, if you're not doing it, it's not going to get done. If you're relying on the institution to rectify a situation that you're suffering from, that situation will never be alleviated because the institution has one goal and one purpose, and that's self-preservation. Anything that comes into existence, sa.neter, tries to maintain itself, even corruption. Corruption, abstract as it is, the idea, abstract as it is, right, tries to sustain itself. How? By engaging other corrupt people, which keeps the corruption going. You look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump is surrounded by corrupt individuals looking to profit off of their positions, right? And he attracts more. You have people who support it because they're looking to profit from it. You understand? They're not looking to correct it or rectify it or make an adjustment. No, they're making money. It's profitable. Very profitable for some people. They're making millions and millions of dollars off all kind of shit. short selling stocks, inside information, war. I mean, how many bombs they done blew up? How many missiles they done shot? You know you got to remake them shits, right? Mm-hmm. You know that's money, right?
Yeah, thousands, millions.
Millions and millions, sa.neter. Money. For what?
What does your realism offer us, though?
sa.neter, realism-ism is not it's not politics. Realism-ism is a perspective. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, what you do with that perspective is on you. I'm not trying to lead anyone. Notice, you've never heard me tell you to attend a lecture,
right?
To buy a video, to come and hear me speak. No, you hear me tell you to wake up, because once you see something, you can't unsee it, and once you know something, you can't unknow it. You can believe anything, but once you know something, you can't unknow it.
Facts.
You understand? Mm-hmm. So I'm more. Some people might look at realism-ism as a philosophy, right? And I'm okay with that, because it's a philosophical perspective, okay? And you have to understand the essence of philosophy. What does those words mean? Means loving wisdom. Okay? Philosophia, the love of wisdom. So just understanding, being able to discern what's really going on, which would be the story behind the story. The one being presented is presented for a reason. What's really going on? You understand? Why is the United States of America bombing Iran? Who's profiting? Somebody's profiting. Who's benefiting? Somebody's benefiting. On whose behalf is it being done? It's being done on behalf of someone, because the last time I checked, right, Iranians wasn't running around here trying to kill up nobody. You understand? But there are individuals who have a vested interest in disabling Iran. You understand?
Why do you think that is?
Well, in addition to Iran's declarative assertion that Israel don't have a right to exist, right? I mean, that's what Iran says, right? You know, I mean, that's their business, but that's what they say, right? In addition to that, it is alleged, right, because I don't know, it is alleged that Iran supplies Hezbollah and with weapons to shoot at Israel. You know what I'm saying? So Israel got beef. Now, do I know that? No. That's the story that they tell, okay? What I know is that there's a hell of a lot of oil money moving around over there, right? And when you're moving around money, right, either somebody pockets is getting fat or somebody pockets is getting skinny, right? The guy with the skinny pockets, if he got an army, he want the army involved. The guy with the fat pockets, he could afford to have an army to be involved, right? You have other interested parties who have a stake in the oil, whether that's Russia or China, what have you, right? They got a little stake in the game too. You understand? Just like the United States was supplying the Taliban when they was fighting the Russians. You understand? Which eventually bankrupted the Soviet Union, right? Well, Russia is helping out Iran. You know what I'm saying?
Why is America so gun-ho into helping
Israel?
Israel?
The mindfucker's real. And
what kind of power do Israel got over America, though?
okay, look. Now you're asking me to speculate. Now you're asking me to speculate, right? Because all someone in my position can do is speculate, right? Because I haven't seen any secret files, right? I don't know any Epsteins, right? And I don't know, to my knowledge, any pedophiles, right? But I can tell you this, right? It's awfully peculiar that no other U.S. president, right, was willing to go along with that shit except this guy. And this guy is all over those files where you got compromised individuals associated with, okay? Compromised individuals can be bent and made to do things that individuals that's not compromised can't be bent and made to do, okay? Same thing, you can say it's awfully peculiar why Donald Trump will criticize and insult everyone except Vladimir Putin of Russia. You understand? Mm-hmm. You can say, well, that's kind of interesting. Traditionally, Russia was the adversary of the United States. You understand? How is it that not for Donald Trump, but for everybody else, but not for him? How is it? How is it you could say, I don't know, how is it that his wife kind of comes from that part of the world? Slovenia being a former Eastern Bloc country. You understand? Mm-hmm. You don't know what kind of compromising material they could have on this guy.
You said grassroots organizations could extract resources if everyone followed a shared line. Who set that line, and what stops your model from becoming authoritarian?
Well, first of all, right, that's community models, right? You're not talking about something that you can implement on as a state. You understand? When you're talking about grassroots, you're talking about community level stuff, right? And models. You want to deal with something that's going to be successful, something that's going to generate benefit to the community that's involved, right? And hopefully get the youth to participate in it so that it can be sustainable, right? Mm-hmm. And that it can be something that they can then pass on to theirs. You don't want to have, you want to have a sort of like a community-owned McDonald's. I'm not saying that a McDonald's, but I'm using that as an example, right? And because it's community-owned, and because everybody, it flourishes. Because not only does everyone patronize it, right? But because everyone patronizes it, everyone benefits from it. You understand? It's something that belongs to you. When you have something that belongs to you, you treat it with respect. You notice that when you walk around in some of the communities, right? You see trash in the street, stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. That's because the people don't regard that as theirs. So don't care. They just throw shit around. It's not theirs. They don't have any respect for it. You know, it's different when you have a community where people have pride in the things that they have and they own because they take care of it. It's theirs. It's different when you have these orchestrations, you know, fabricated communities where they just stick your ass in and you don't have any sense of belonging or any particular loyalty. That's done on purpose, you know? Look, there's a reason why, sa.neter, they build housing projects and put stores at the bases of them. You know, that's to attract investment. Here, we got a built-in consumer base right here. You just open a store, your consumers are right there.
You ask, what kind of man would make a woman call the police? Do you oversimplify domestic crisis by assuming the man is usually the primary cause?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. But in a conversation, right, where the issue is the man, the question is going to arise. What kind of man is this woman calling the cops on? You understand? Mm-hmm. And now, let's turn that around. You have dudes who call the cops on women. Yeah, you got some women that be whipping some dudes' asses. You got abused men. You understand? Now, I would say, what kind of issues do she got? You know what I'm saying? She could be former military with PTSD.
Right.
Beating the shit out dude. Right. Dude might look like Viet Cong at night. You understand?
Yeah.
Flashbacks is something else. I'm just saying. I'm not using that as a particular instance. I'm just making a comment that circumstances warrant different things, sa.neter. If in the past I made statements, the statement was in reference to a particular incident that I was discussing at the time. I don't make pronouncements that are meant to be implemented across circumstances. You understand? Mm-hmm. I respond to a specific incident with a specific comment about a specific thing. It may pertain to that specific individual, you know?
Right. But your realism claims complexity, but the argument can become morally simplistic.
Yeah, but realism is not complex. It's real simple. What's the truth? You understand? Mm-hmm. That there's no simpler look. No matter what you're saying, there may be 100 different reasons why you smack that woman, right? But you smack that woman. You understand? You know you're not supposed to smack that woman, but you smack that woman. Now you got handcuffs on. Now you want to know why she called the police on you, right? You just slapped her ass in the next Tuesday, right? Her head twisted around like The Exorcist. When she stopped spinning, she started dialing 911. Now, I'm saying you smacked her in the next Tuesday and she called the police. I'm thinking to myself, she could have let your ass go to sleep and shot you in the head. Know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She could have let you go to sleep and did a bosky on you. What's that chick name? that cut dude joint off when he was asleep, Lawena Botsky or whatever, she could have did that to you. She called 911. I'm like, okay, she called 911. What kind of dude is you in there beating that woman? Because that ain't the first time. She ain't called 911 the first time. That was probably the 9th time.
You said a man should protect women and children, and are you grounding realism in traditional gender norms rather than neutral analysis?
Actually, no, because as a man, right? As a man, I can only think as a man. I don't have gender neutral thoughts. I don't have gender neutral perspectives. I don't have gender confusion, okay? I'm a man, they're women. That means my world in this regard is binary. It consists of men and women. There's nothing else in my world. There's no pronoun, this and that. That doesn't exist in my world. In my world, there's men and women. Now, I understand that some people have additional things going on in their worlds. What I need you to understand is that's not my world. Now, people say, but brother, we all in the same world. And I would have you understand that that's not the case, right? We are not all in the same world. Now, there is a gay world and there is a straight world. There is a what you call it? I don't want to denigrate anybody. So this is not like a judgment. This is more like a description, right? There's the people that like to get tied up,
right,
with the masses on and shit and whipped. There's that world. There's people that like to get chased. That's that world. You understand? There's different worlds. In my world, there's men and women. And in my world, the men like the women and the women like the men. Okay? In my world, men protect the women. In my world, women have kids. In my world, men don't have little dogs. They have big dogs. In my world, women have little dogs.
Right.
You understand? Now, that's just my world. Now, I'm aware that there's other worlds because I see big dudes with little dogs. You understand? And I'm like, okay, he's from a different world. And I know that because when they say things to you, you be like, okay, he's from a different world. You understand? Because he'd be like 6'5", 250 pounds, and he'd be like, pardon me. And I'm like, okay. You understand? That's a different world. Right. That's not my world. So I don't know that world. I don't know what go on in that world. I don't know what language they speak. I don't know what they be talking about. I know that they be talking about stuff that I don't understand because I can hear them and I don't know what the fuck they be saying. So it's not my business.
Okay. You said black people fail to consider themselves a people. What does being a people requires beyond rhetoric?
Same culture, same language, same traditions, same perspective, and identity. Now, the most destructive legacy of the impact that we've had in this society is the latter, the identity. So we have people who identify with all kind of stuff, man. We just got oh man, we run the gambit, right? So a long time ago, I said that no matter what, right? If you don't start, I remember talking to Professor Smalls on 125th Street, and we were talking about the use of nigger. And at first he tried to wiggle away. You know, oh, my mother called me nigga, said, Lord, you my nigga. You know what I'm saying? But then he came to understand what I was saying, right? And it is with sad reflection that I still report to you that the most common thing that your people call themselves is nigger. That's across the board. They more than anything else, more than anything else, that goes for the reverends. That goes for the 5%ers, the Muslims, right? More than anything else, nigga. Just.
You said a people need an official name. And
sa.neter, how you gonna be a people without a name?
And land.
Land is important.
Right.
You know why land is important? Because that's what you're standing on, right? So if you on land, you identify with the land. Look, you have people from different places. They come here, right? Say, oh, I'm Somalian, right? I'm from Somalia. Even if they come here and they here now they American, right? They can still refer to that land. Somalia is in tatters, it's been torn apart, right? You have Somalia, you have Somaliland, right? Somaliland is a country that's not recognized, okay? But it's been a country since like the 80s or something, right? They doing their thing, their own thing, because Somalia is ripped apart by war and jihadists and all this shit. Somaliland, they doing their thing, right? So, but externally, we really don't know a lot about that, right? Internally, they know they got beef with each other. Externally, we just see Somalians, right? Are you Somali? Yeah, Somaliland, Somalia, it's Somali.
You know, I found out later on in life that my grandfather is a full-blooded Washita. He's a full-blooded Washita. You dismissed native identity arguments and insist Africa is the proper origin. Are you
I dismissed
substituting?
what?
Yeah, you dismissed that argument.
You
said just because
that's
you
not
have
correct.
a little blood in you don't mean you're a Native American Indian.
Yeah, but that's not dismissing that argument. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is that, okay, you misunderstand.
Go ahead. That's what
Right?
I'm asking you.
Let me say this to you again, the way that I said it to you before, and maybe you'll understand it this time, because obviously you failed to understand it that time, right? What I said was, because you have Native American ancestry, doesn't make your ancestors Native American. That's what I said. Now, that's what I said then. That's what I say now.
But my ancestors,
I have Native American ancestry, but my ancestors are not Native American.
Yeah,
now let me explain
how did
this.
you become to have
Let me
Native
explain.
American if your
Let me
ancestors
explain this to you in a different way,
Yeah.
so your ass could get it. Right now, let's take this slow. I don't want you to miss this bus. This ain't the short bus. This the long bus.
Right.
Right? The short bus, you know what I'm saying? You was on that shit the last time. This the long bus.
Okay.
Okay? Look, you have ancestors. That's plural. Okay? Plural. Not ancestor.
Right.
That's singular, right? Because you have an ancestor from here doesn't mean your ancestors, plural, were from here. Because your ancestry interacted and intersected with ancestry here,
I got you.
okay? That don't take away all the rest of it.
Right.
What I said to you then, I'm saying to you now, right?
Because your ancestor had sex with one of your individual.
Not just that.
And that's
I
what
told
made
you
him.
my father's mother, right? Was native. You know?
Right.
And this not according to her. This comes from everybody else. You know what I'm saying? And I used to be afraid of my grandmother because she used to talk about biting me, right? And she said, if you be bad, I'll bite your hind part, right? And I thought my grandmother would bite me, right? Because, you know, you hear shit about Indians, right? And then she had a dog, and the damn dog used to try to bite me, right? So I'm like, damn, grandma want to bite me, the dog want to bite me. I don't like going to see grandma. so I wasn't close to that one. You understand? But my point being, right, is you could have Native American ancestry. That don't make your ancestors Native American. Now, people want to take things out of context, right? Look, let's turn that around. Barack Obama has a white mother, right? Barack Obama has a father from Kenya. His ancestors. Who's his ancestors? You understand? Let's break it down. Barack Obama's DNA. He has a male, a Y chromosome that makes him a black man. From a black man from the continent of Africa. All them black man DNA Barack Obama got is in Africa. Now, he got the white woman DNA from wherever she came from too, right? Who's his ancestors? You understand? Now, when you look at his children, his mother is one of us. They have our ancestry, and well, maybe not yours, mine, but and his from Africa. Who are their ancestors? Do you really think those black children are gonna look at white people and say that those are their ancestors, I don't think that's how that's going to work.
No.
I think their ancestors is going to be the black people. You understand? I know that they have ancestry from the white people, but their ancestors, it's going to be different. That's all I'm saying when I make that statement.
You said disinformation maintained. You said disinformation is maintained because confusion helps the market.
Oh, hell yeah.
How do you prove the market needs confusion rather than merely profiting from it?
Okay. If, oh man, people gonna be mad at me for this.
Let them get mad. Give them
Right?
realism, brother.
The only way you really make money off other people, right? I hope they don't take this the wrong way. Is their ignorance, right? They paying you because they don't know how to do something. Or they're paying you to do something because it requires a level of expertise that they don't have. Hence their ignorance, okay? So the market needs ignorance in order to function, okay? All of these businesses that do services and shit, your brokerages and all of that shit, right? It depends on the ignorance of the people in order for them to make money. Because if you knew how to stockbroker, you wouldn't need a stockbroker. If you knew how to do your income taxes, you wouldn't need an income tax guy. If you knew how to do this shit. So your ignorance is what they actually, it allows people to make money. You understand? You have all of these office buildings around here full of people that don't do nothing but process paperwork, process information, other people's information, whether it's Social Security, whether it's the hospitals or something. You have people in there processing information, basically doing stuff that if you knew how to do, you would do yourself. Now you go to the hospital, they have those self-check-in things, right? Where you self-check in. That eliminates some shit that the employees used to do, because you could do that for yourself. You understand? But you have people who don't know how to use those. So you have an employee who comes along and shows them how to use it. You understand? You still need an employee to show you how to use this thing, how to interact with this technology, right? Now, as people decry the rise of AI, because AI supposedly is going to eliminate people's jobs, right? And that's their fear of becoming obsolete, right? Obsolescence has been built into this new model since the beginning. They've been creating robotics and all sorts of things to get rid of people, right? And what their objective is to maximize profit. You understand? I was doing a job for one of Donald Trump's friends a few years ago, right? And they brought in this machine, right? And I watched them take it out of the box. And they built this thing up to like 24 feet high, right? And like 40, 50 feet long, right? Out of the box, I see them take it out of the box and build it, right? It cost $1.4 million, right? And a guy was telling me that he's gonna get rid of 7 girls that work for him because he got this machine, right? Which prompted me to ask, how much the machine costs? He said 1.4 million. So I said to myself, 1.4 million. I said, because I know what he paid the girls, right? I said, so you getting rid of 7 girls because you bought this machine, right? I said, but you don't even pay them shit. You know what I'm saying? You pay them like $7 an hour. He said, yeah, but I have to pay them all the time. He said, I have to pay for this machine one time. I said, okay. So he buys a machine, 1.4 million. The machine takes laundry around. Well, not laundry, but cleaners' clothes. So, you know, it takes it around, stops at different stations and shit like that, right? And I said, fuck. I watched them build this shit out the box, 1.4 million. But his intention was that salary that he's paying $7 an hour for 8 hours a day, how many days a week, totally eliminate that shit with one payment, 1.4 million. And even though there's 1.4 million, eventually he'll make that money back and then it's gonna be free. That's how they thinking.
You said we are living on a planet full of killers. Are you talking about
That's
white
not.
people,
That's
human
not.
beings?
No, that's
What are you
not.
talking
That's
about?
that's not a metaphor.
Talk
That's a realization.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on this planet is trying to kill something and eat it. Okay, that's just a realization. The fact that I articulated in it that way, right, is maybe it's for shock benefit, right? But the truth of the matter is this is a planet full of killers. You can't tell me one thing on this planet that's not trying to kill something else and eat it, right? They got flowers that'll try to grab your ass. You understand? Mm-hmm. You have bugs that'll bite you. Shit that swim that'll kill you. Fly. You got birds that'll eat you. You understand? Shit will drag you in the bushes and eat you. People will eat you. You understand? This is literally a planet full of killers. Look, somebody asked me once, how can you not believe in God? And I said, how can you believe in God? I said, how can you believe that there's a God that loved you, made you, and put your naked ass in the middle of a planet full of killers with no weapons? You ain't got no sharp claws, no real strong strength. You can't run fast. You can't jump high. You can't fly. It's shit running around here that could run faster than you.
I got a rebuttal for that.
No, wait. That could jump higher than you. That could just drag you into the bushes, right? And the only thing you got is a brain. And what you use that brain for? To hide from that shit.
Yeah, but see, when God created you, according to the scriptures, he gave you dominion over the ants, over the bees, over the animals, over the tigers, bro.
sa.neter, do you know what a fairy tale is?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you know why we tell stories?
Yes, sir.
Why?
To get people into believing certain things.
No,
Why?
that's not why we tell stories. We tell sa.neter. How many hours in a day?
They say 24.
Okay. If you're in a society and consider it's a quote unquote primitive society, right? Mm-hmm. So there's no televisions. There's no basketball courts, none of that, right? After you finish doing what you need to do in the daylight hours, what do? We just sit around and look at each other?
Mm-hmm.
You tell stories.
Right.
Whether it's about what happened that day or events or something, you communication, right? So people tell stories to entertain themselves, to accompany themselves, to alleviate the monotonous.
What's your point?
My point is that stories evolved. As people evolved, stories evolved. As people's societies became more complex, the stories became more complex. In the beginning, there wasn't too many stories, sa.neter. And notice, the stories begin, right? In the beginning, there was this. And then there was that, right? It don't begin, and then John said, take thee over and go thither and whither. No, that shit come later. You understand? Mm-hmm. Once, but I'll tell you this. The person, the individual who came up with the idea of God was a genius.
I agree.
That person was a genius because that person is the person who realized that they're not going to listen to me. I'm just like them.
So you think it was a person that came up with the idea of God? What created you if God is not real?
sa.neter. You know, ants often crawl around their hill, right? And survey the terrain and declare themselves masters of the universe, right? From the anthill. Because an ant on an anthill to the ant is on the top of the world. sa.neter, we're ants on this anthill. To think that there's a being somewhere that created you and put you on the anthill, right? It's just your little ant imagination trying to make sense of your little ant existence, right? But your little ant's existence is insignificant compared to what's going on with the rest of this living, breathing planet that you happen to be on. The only reason you're alive is because the planet is alive. The planet has issues and mood swings. And when the planet is having like menstrual cramps, we fucked. That's earthquakes. When the planet got diarrhea, that's floods. You understand? Mm-hmm. The planet go through shit. We just on it. It's like a flea on a dog.
Yeah.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
The flea, the dog going that way. The flea riding. The flea don't know where he going.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
We on a rock hurling through space, sa.neter. We are on a rock hurling through space. Once upon a time, we thought we was the center of the damn universe.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
A flea on a dog's ass thinking that it's riding the dog. The flea is on the dog's ass. But the flea telling the dog what to do. Go that way. Go that way. We riding horses. Right? Mm-hmm. We in control of the horse. To the horse, and throw your ass off. Ah!
Right.
My point is that for some reason, right, man, and I don't speak for myself when I say this, right, has this lofty opinion of himself, you know? Dominion over the earth. Remember Bashir said that stupid shit to me?
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's lunch meat for some shit running through the woods. You understand? We'll grab his fat ass and eat him the fuck up. And that's it. Nothing coming to save him. Not Allah, not Jesus, nothing. Them teeth, And that hungry shit that's biting them is it. That's the planet that we on. We on the planet where once upon a time, they had lions kill 138 people in Kenya. 2 lions. They made movies about the lions called The Ghost in the Darkness. Now, all I'm saying is, we on a planet where things go on, and if you're not really paying attention, you won't understand it or you'll misunderstand it. You'll think it's one thing when it's totally something else. You understand? Mm-hmm. That's just what we have.
Let me ask you this. I always wanted to ask you this, man. During your time at a young age, you never became a part of Islam, becoming a Muslim, becoming a 5%er, becoming something like most brothers do when they get behind the wall. They end up becoming a Muslim, changing their religion, becoming something else, a 5%er. Why you never done that with all the years you spent with your time?
Truthfully,
have you thought about it? Or?
Truthfully, I think I've never been a joiner, you know? So when I was young, I wasn't a gang member. I was the guy gang members hung out with, you know? I never belonged to the gang. Sometimes I hung out with them, sometimes I didn't. I was never a member. Used to be with different gangs, you know what I'm saying? But I was never a member of any of them. In there, I used to deal with everybody, but I'm never a member of anything, you know? I kind of, don't take this the wrong way, right? But I kind of see joining gangs as kind of weak, you know?
No, I ain't gonna take that the wrong way.
If you have to be in a group, right? It's because you ain't really sure about yourself. So I never really felt comfortable joining groups, you know? I know what I'm up to, and I know what I'm about. It ain't like that with groups. When you're in a group, you might have all kind of people in that group. Shady individuals and shit. But because they're part of the group, you gotta be down with them.
Oh, you don't think me?
Nah.
Why not?
I think in the last 40 years, I may have eaten one of those.
Listen, man. Unc and his brother Cedric, they have something called the pseudo killers. That's the name of their pod. The pseudo killers, where they kill all pseudos. Unc, Cedric, and Juju, they claim that we are old world monkeys. Old world monkeys. What do you say to that, brother? That we are primates. And so I asked him the question one day. I said, are we monkeys, Unc? And he explained it in that way, that we are old world monkeys. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, right, I kind of need you to understand that there's nothing particularly un-ape-like about people. Let me say that, right? There's nothing particularly un-ape-like about people, meaning people are more like apes than not. Okay? Now, if you're going to be pragmatic, right? Realism is about the truth with no bullshit.
Right.
Okay? So, realistically speaking, on this planet, right? Things that are related look related. Okay? Birds look like birds. Right? There's different kind of birds, and you can clearly see the difference in the different kind of birds, right? But you can also clearly see that their ass is all birds. Okay? Cats. There's different kind of cats. And you can clearly see that they all cats. Big ones and little ones. Ferocious ones and ones that'll sit on your lap, right? But they all cats, right? Now listen. The same thing with monkeys. Now, we are not monkeys of any kind. Monkeys are similar. You see, they all have similar traits. They all have tails, right? That's monkeys. Apes.
Said that we evolved. Our tails broke off.
Listen, right? Listen. You have apes and you have monkeys. A monkey is not an ape.
Right.
Okay? Monkey's different. All I'm saying is you don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand that people are just humanists, right? As humanists, they think humans are better than the rest of the shit, so they see the rest of the shit running around here as less than them, so they couldn't possibly be them. You understand? What I need them humanists to understand is the other shit is looking at humans and saying, these motherfuckers stuck on the ground. Sorry, see you later. Can't definitely be you because you can't fly. You understand? People are just another life form on this planet, on this same rock, that do the same shit the other shit do. Breathe air, breathe out carbon dioxide. The vegetation takes that carbon dioxide, converts it into oxygen, and puts it back into the atmosphere. Okay? We are dependent on that process. Because we are dependent on that process, it means we are a part of that process. Just like everything else on this planet, that would be, whether it's a monkey or ape, we are a life form dependent on that photosynthetic process, that photosynthesis that takes place between the plants and the animals. We're the animals, they're the plants. Two forms of life on this rock, plant and animal. Okay? We're the animals, they're the plants. Now, however you want to be, whatever kind of animal you want to imagine yourself being, we got some people that look like monkeys. We got people that look like rats. We got people that look like kangaroos. And we could say, well, your ass got kangaroo DNA, motherfucker. Hop on out of here, right? My point is that no matter what you call it, your ass is a part of the life cycle of this planet. There is no getting around that. The only thing you can do is psychologically tell yourself some bullshit. I've descended from, God created me from the dirt. No. Because The dirt don't breathe air and exhale carbon dioxide, but you do. The dirt doesn't have an autonomic immune system, but you do. That means there's some shit going on inside you that you ain't got no control over. That means that shit evolved on this planet. Like everything else. Not created, evolved. And if we just dealt rationally with evolution, we would be able to see the effects of it everywhere, because it's everywhere. Evolution.
You said no justice, no peace, a gun with no bullets. What evidence shows symbolic protest is ineffective rather than often necessary in building mass action?
Here we go. Look, here's what I noticed, right? I noticed that our endeavors, and when I say our in this instant, I mean black people. And I don't mean any particular group of black people in America, but I mean black people in America, because we all tend to follow, well, we have tended to follow this protest model, right? And in my opinion, it's orchestrated. Why is it orchestrated? Because it generates profit. Not for you, but mass protests. What does mass protests do? Mass protests brings together large groups of people, right? And it concentrates them in one area, right? The area where you concentrate those large groups of people, they have businesses, those people patronize those businesses, and stimulates that economy, right? What I'm saying is, if that's the case, right, why haven't we bottled that and utilized it in order to stimulate economies where we need the economy stimulated? If you're gonna have something, right, then you owe it to yourself to realize the potential of the things you have and the ability to utilize it to your benefit, right? You can do that, but that's not what we do. We react emotionally. We are reactionary. We are not actionary, we are reactionary. So we come out in response to things that happen, not proactively in order to accomplish something, but reactively as a response to something. You understand? There's a difference. So if you have the ability to mobilize large numbers of people, right? And you can't take that ability and shape it to where that benefits, let you target a community, right? Look, we want to stimulate this community and stimulate growth in this community, right? You open a business, you open 2 businesses, and then you target that community to stimulate the growth of that business, right? You make it trendy. You understand? Now, what you have to notice at some point is that black people follow trends, okay? They also create trends. A lot of people all over the world, they do the things that black people do, right? What I've said in the past, and I'll say again here today, is that where we failed is that we understand that they copy us, right? But what we fail to do is shit that helps us. Because if they copy us, if we do shit that help us, maybe they'll copy that. And without even realizing it, they'll be helping us.
You said television pumps fear into people so they stop trying. How do you distinguish heavy media influence from total psychological programming?
Oh man, come on now. The television is owned by corporations. What do you think they're gonna do? Corporate media is designed to protect the bottom line. Their bottom line, the reason you see shows and shit, they're competing for your interests because those shows are marketing products. Those products they've learned through subliminal seduction is how they can sell products. You know, that's what they used to do in the movie theaters when they have the dancing cup of soda come out during the intermission, and then their sales of sodas would increase, and they realize, hey, this shit works. It's a good marketing tool. Subliminal seduction is what it's called, right? So they use the media. This is why it's so expensive to buy commercial time during huge sporting events like the Super Bowl or something like that, because you have so many people tuned in at that time. They know that their commercial is going to hit so many people, they're looking for a big return on that investment. That's why it's expensive to buy that time. You understand? Because they have access to your mind to zap you, you know?
Right, all right. You said gangsters are also subject to propaganda. If propaganda is that powerful, why are individuals still fully blameworthy?
Well, what you have to understand, right, is even though you can be manipulated, right? At the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. And you know what you're doing ain't right, because you're doing it to somebody else. And you wouldn't want somebody to do it to you. Right is right and wrong is wrong. I mean, it's not common sense, it's fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? And everybody don't have common sense, but everybody got fucking sense. You know? You say, well, what's fucking sense? Now you know that don't make no fucking sense. That's fucking sense.
Okay. You said, that's here. You said outspoken black people have historically been targeted as a form of terrorism.
Cold.
What distinguishes someone outspoken from someone genuinely revolutionary?
Well, see, there's no such thing as genuinely revolutionary. The outspoken person is genuinely revolutionary. That's why his ass is speaking out. That's the genuinely revolutionary people. That's the ones that get called. It's the ones that get killed. It's the ones that get lynched. It's the ones that get targeted, separated, and destroyed, because those are the ones that tend to wake up the other ones. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes, we move right along. I'm almost done. You denied that Kanye West visibly made him revolutionary. What is your actual definition of a revolutionary?
That's an overused term, right? And it's been commercialized to the point where it has no relevance in today's society, because revolution is about overturning systems, okay? When you have people saying someone is revolutionary because they blurt out some shit, right? That a revolutionary does not make, right? Brother Malcolm wasn't even revolutionary. No, Malcolm was outspoken. Malcolm wasn't revolutionary, right? Malcolm wasn't trying to overturn the system.
Right.
What system was he trying to overturn? Revolution is, Castro was a revolutionary.
Right.
You understand? Revolution is about overthrowing systems. If you're not trying to overthrow the system, you're not a revolutionary. Just talking shit don't make you look. In China, little kids study Kung Fu, right? That's their culture. In Japan, they study some shit too, right? It's their culture. What do our kids study?
Basketball. What?
Some of them play basketball. They don't study it. Culture. And basketball's not the culture. Basketball, we got that from white folks, right?
What, dancing?
Basketball. We got that from white folks. Basketball's a city game. Remember, we wasn't in the cities like that, right? Now, our thing, what do most of our kids do? All of them. All of them. All of them. I can tell you what all of them don't do. They all don't play tennis. They all don't play hockey. They all don't play soccer. They all don't play basketball. They all don't go to church. They all not Muslims.
What do they do?
They all into rap. All of them. So much so they done affected the other ones. They got the white ones into it. You understand? What I'm saying to you is that we see things and we don't see it. We understand it and we don't understand it. We see culture and we don't understand that that's culture. So you got people saying, oh, black people in America don't have no culture. How the fuck is y'all copying us then? What you think you copying? You copying our culture. You understand? Mm-hmm. These are them Iranian motherfuckers. They making videos right now. Rap videos about Donald Trump. Using rap as a weapon. Iran. That's our culture they're using against. Why? Because the world has been exposed to our culture through the media. And our culture spreads out to the world as American culture. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, what I need you to understand is with that in mind, when the little Chinese kids are studying Kung Fu, our kids are studying rap battles.
All right. You said LGBT visibly is driven by economics, visibly in the market.
I couldn't have said that.
Yes, you did.
Couldn't me.
I'm going to say it again. You said LGBT visibly is driven by economics, visibly in the market. Are you reducing social recognition entirely to money and campaign access?
First of all, that couldn't have been me because I don't use alphabets. So that couldn't have been me. So I don't use alphabets, right? But I will tell you this, right? That's some white man bullshit right there, right? Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that, and let me just make this disclaimer right now because I know I'm gonna get some backlash for this, right? This has nothing to do with you confuse black people that think y'all are part of that, right? This has to do with that, right? And by that, I mean the politicization of being gay or something in America. That's some white man stuff. That's some more white power grab. That's some more attempts at white people to have control over everything. You know what I'm saying? Control over the gays, control over the lesbians. So they want to make everything white. You understand? So understanding that you have black people that do that stuff too, right? I just need you to understand, you didn't have black people making that political movements. That's some white people stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Jabari said the next time he sit down with you, he's going to make you regret trying to make him look crazy on the other video that y'all did when he was upset with you. He was asking you, are you playing, Larry? What's going on? And trying to get you to focus. He said he's going to make you regret that Kemet is an only true way of life that we all should be living.
Delusional people aside, right? We have some individuals among us who think that they're 5,000-year-old mummies, right? I tend to leave the sarcophagus lids closed, but if a mummy should rise up out of that coffin, I will put him right back in the coffin and close the lid, and it will be the end of the Scorpion King.
All right, brother. Close us out. We done.
The only thing that I need people to understand about Brother Larry is that I don't see myself any different than I see anybody else, right? If you can think and you're thinking, then you're good. If you can think and you're not thinking, you're probably dangerous. I'll probably avoid you. Because you can tell when a person's not thinking. You don't have to listen to them. You just have to watch them for a minute and see what they do. You learn things by looking and observing and paying attention. You don't necessarily have to interact, but you do have to look and pay attention real closely. Most people will tell you what they're about. Just give them the time. And don't make assumptions. And that's realism-ism.
And with that, peace and blessings, brother. Thank you. Let's get out of here.